Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well and still riding that high from the release of NEL Rin, because just as we were getting used to the chaos he brought to the game, a brand new update dropped out of nowhere. Literally just yesterday. Now I know what you're thinking. It's just a patch, right? But no, this update is definitely more than that. It includes a bunch of important balance changes, visual and audio improvements, and even fixes for some super annoying bugs that have been messing with matches. And yes, for those of you who've been holding out hope, NEL Isagi finally got a buff. After being one of the most underwhelming world-class styles for months, he's now back in the spotlight. So, in today's video, we're going to break it all down. What exactly changed in this patch? How does the Isagi rework feel in action? And are we seeing the early signs of a Rin nerf coming soon? Let's go over everything you need to know, and trust me, there's a lot you don't want to miss. Alright, let's start with the highlight of this patch, NEL Isagi. Now, if you've been playing for a while, you'll remember how much potential he had at release. He was everywhere. His dash made him insanely mobile, and people were building whole teams around him. But then, things went downhill fast. The devs nerfed his dash really hard. It got cut by 50%, which basically crippled his playstyle. And right around the same time, Kaiser entered the game and completely stole the spotlight. With Isagi's mobility gone, and a new Kaiser in game, most players just abandoned him. But now, he's back. And it's all thanks to one key buff. His dash distance was increased by 25%. Now that might not sound like a lot on paper, but trust me, it's a game changer. If you do the math, it means his dash went from 100% to 50% after the nerf, and now it's sitting at a much healthier 75%. And in practice? That's a huge difference. I've played quite a few matches since the patch dropped, and Isagi just feels so much better. He can close gaps again, reposition effectively, and actually apply pressure like he used to. And the crazy part? Even with Rin now in the meta, Isagi holds his own. I'd go as far as to say he's back in the top 5, easily. He's not broken, but he's finally viable again. Now, let's talk about his other abilities, starting with meta vision. No official changes were listed in the patch notes for this one, but man, that giant blue grid overlay that fills the entire field when you activate it? It's still a visual mess. I don't know if it's just me, but it makes it really hard to see what's going on, especially in team fights or crowded areas, and I've seen tons of people on Discord say the same thing. So if the devs are watching, maybe consider adjusting that effect, tone down the intensity, or make it more transparent. Moving on to direct shot, it hasn't changed either, which is honestly fine. It's still reliable, quick, and has great distance. But the interesting one is lefty shoot. There was no mention of any buffs to it, but in several matches I saw Isagi players taking the ball from me from way outside the normal range, like 3 or even 4 meters away. Now, maybe it was lag. Some of those matches had people running 170 to 200 ping. But the consistency makes me think there might be a silent buff here. Also, remember a while ago when players were suggesting a nerf to lefty shoot? The devs said they were considering making it disabled during enemy dribble animations, kind of like how Sei's arm swipe doesn't work mid-dribble. That change hasn't been implemented yet, which is honestly a relief. Lefty is strong, but I wouldn't say it's overpowered right now. Alright, let's pivot for a second and talk about Rin. He's obviously the most hyped character at the moment, but let's be real. His domain move? It's way too good. It guarantees possession, completely shuts down dribblers, and gives him an insanely powerful curve shot, even stronger and faster than his main annihilation shot. That's just too much packed into a single ability. Now, after some recent Discord polls and community feedback, there's a strong hint that the devs are planning to nerf domain, and honestly, it's about time. It's creating imbalance in a game that was finally starting to feel diverse again. I actually mentioned this in my last video, and you guys agreed. The comments were full of people calling domain broken and asking for a nerf. So, if you haven't yet, do this. Go to the Blue Lock Rivals Discord, check the suggestions channel. Do not spam, but if someone has already posted a good suggestion about tweaking domain, like making it possible to dribble around it, shortening its range, or nerfing the curve shot, just react to it. comment, support it, help it gain traction. Let's get those changes made the right way. Now here's something that doesn't affect balance, but it does make the game feel so much more polished. SFX improvements. When NEL Bachira dropped, his ultimate had zero audio. No voice lines, no activation sound, just silence. And to make matters worse, his awakening abilities were loud, like painfully loud for teammates and viewers. Thankfully, that's now been fixed. His ultimate now has proper voice lines and balanced volume, and the overall experience feels much more immersive. It finally feels like you're triggering something powerful, not just playing in silence. Also, for those of you who run the Otoya plus Bachira chemical combo, you'll be happy to hear that their reaction animation finally has SFX too. It used to play completely mute, which was super awkward. Now it sounds just as cool as it looks. Now let's quickly go over some bug fixes, because these are things that were driving people crazy. First, Rin's VIP seat move had a nasty visual bug. Sometimes after using it, the entire field would turn bright blue, or just vanish completely. This usually happened when someone else activated it, and it made matches unplayable. Thankfully, that bug has been squashed. And then we had the random game crashes, especially for players using consoles or lower-end devices. I personally experienced this a couple of times leading up to Rin's release, and I've heard similar complaints from friends. Well, the devs have addressed this too, and crashes should now be a lot less frequent. By the way, before we wrap up, I wanted to ask, do you guys remember when I mentioned that in the next update we might, not 100% confirmed, but based on our observations, be getting a Shido refresh? That's right, possibly with some new moves added. Like maybe a dash or something. Because let's be honest, having two strike-based abilities isn't that helpful when you don't have the ball. You can easily get the ball taken away from you by players like NEL Isagi with lefty shoot, or NEL Rin with his domain. So again, and I mentioned this in my previous Shido video, I'd personally add something like a dash ability when Shido doesn't have the ball. Just like in the anime when he runs and those pink wings appear behind him. Also, one more thing. I'd love to see an extra move added to his ultimate, just like they did with Otoya when they gave him Ninja Steel, if I remember the name right. That was actually officially called a Refresh Otoya. The devs even wrote that in the update notes. Anyway, I kind of went off track there, but yeah, just reminding you all that I said there's a high chance Shido's getting refreshed in the next update. And now, I think there's a real possibility they might also nerf NEL Rin, or even bundle the Shido refresh and Rin nerf together. So yeah, we're all really looking forward to this update. It's going to be a great one. So, now I want to hear from you. What do you think of Isagi's new dash distance? Do you agree that Metavision's visuals are too overwhelming? And what's your take on Rin's domain? Should it be nerfed hard or just adjusted? Let's get a real discussion going down in the comments. Also, don't forget, if you're on the Discord, lend your support to suggestions you agree with. That's the best way to help shape the game into something we all enjoy. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.